the night the storm took everything. The storm came without warning. One moment, the world was calm and quiet. The river flowed gently beside the village, and little Lucky, a small black dog with kind eyes, rested safely beside the family he loved. But then, the sky suddenly turned dark. Thunder shook the ground. Rain crashed from the heavens like a raging waterfall. The wind screamed through the night, tearing apart homes, trees, and everything in its path. Lucky ran through the floodwaters, terrified and alone. In a single night, he lost everything. His home, his family, his world. But even in the cold darkness, even when hope seemed gone, a tiny light still remained inside his heart. Because sometimes, after the most painful storms, hope is the one thing that survives. Before the storm, Lucky was a small black Shih Tzu with soft fur and gentle eyes. He lived in a tiny riverside village with a little girl named Emma and her parents. Every morning, Emma carried Lucky outside just before sunrise. Together, they watched golden light shimmer across the quiet river while fishing. Boats drifted slowly through the morning mist. Lucky followed Emma everywhere she went. They chased butterflies through the tall grass, splashed through muddy paths after the rain, and played beside old wooden boats near the shore until the sky glowed deep orange. To Lucky, those moments felt like forever. Safe, warm, peaceful. Every night, he curled beside Emma's bed while the cool wind whispered through the open windows. Whenever Emma laughed, Lucky's tail wagged so hard his whole body shook with joy. He loved her more than anything in the world. And in Emma's arms, Lucky believed nothing bad could ever happen. But beyond the quiet river, far behind the darkening clouds, a powerful storm was already beginning to wake. Something felt wrong. That afternoon, something in the village felt different. The air was heavier, like the sky was holding its breath. The wind, once warm and gentle, turned cold against the skin. Leaves stopped dancing. Birds that always filled the trees were suddenly gone. Even the river, usually calm and singing, began to move in strange, uneasy ripples. Lucky noticed everything. Dogs don't need warnings. They feel danger before it arrives. And deep inside his small chest, Lucky felt it too. Fear, not loud, but deep and growing. Emma's father sat quietly near the old TV. Static filled the room. Then suddenly, his expression changed. Serious, tight, unshakable. "A strong storm is coming tonight," he said. Everything stopped. The village shifted into panic. Windows were nailed shut. Boats were pulled tight against ropes near the shore. People moved quickly, too quickly, as prayers mixed with rushing footsteps. But above it all, the sky kept darkening. Thicker, heavier, closer, like something unstoppable was finally arriving. The storm arrived. That night, the sky finally broke. The storm arrived like it had been waiting all along. Rain crashed against the roof, not like water, but like thousands of stones being thrown from the sky. Thunder didn't just sound close. It felt close, like it was shaking the bones of the house itself. Lightning ripped through the windows, turning everything white for a split second. Then darkness again. Lucky whimpered, pacing in tight circles. His paws slipped on the wet floor as water slowly crept in under the front door. Cold, unstoppable. Emma pulled him into her arms. "It's okay, Lucky," she whispered, but her grip was tight. Too tight. And her voice didn't sound sure anymore. Then, crash! A massive tree broke loose in the wind and slammed into the side of the house. The impact shook the walls. The lights flickered once, twice, then died completely. Emma screamed. Lucky barked, lost in the dark. Outside, the wind roared louder than anything they had ever heard, like the world itself was angry. Floodwaters rushed through the village streets, swallowing fences, paths, and memories. Inside, panic moved fast. Emma's father grabbed emergency bags. Her mother gathered blankets, shaking but focused. "We need to leave now." The door opened, and in an instant, the storm swallowed them whole. Swept away. The rain was blinding now, as if the sky had torn open completely. Streetlights vanished behind sheets of water and wind. Within seconds, the flood wasn't just rising, it was taking over everything. The water reached Emma's knees, then her waist, far too fast to escape. Lucky struggled beside her, tiny paws slipping against the current, trying to stay close. But the river that used to be calm had become something else entirely. Something angry, something unstoppable. Then, a massive wave of floodwater slammed through the street like a moving wall. Wood splintered, metal screamed, doors ripped from their frames. Emma tried to hold on tighter, but the force was too strong. Her grip slipped. Lucky, the cry was swallowed instantly by the storm. And just like that, Lucky was gone. The current grabbed him, pulling him under, spinning him in a violent whirl of black water. Cold, endless, disorienting. Branches and broken debris struck his small body as he fought to breathe, to see, to understand where he was. He paddled desperately, searching for Emma's voice. But there was nothing anymore. Only thunder, only rain, only the roar of the flood swallowing the village whole. For a moment, everything disappeared. No home, no street, no Emma, just darkness. Lucky was alone, terrified, drifting further and further away with every second. And then, through the chaos, a shape appeared, a broken wooden door, floating like a ghost on the water. With every ounce of strength left in his trembling body, Lucky swam toward it. He clawed himself upward, slipping once, then again, until finally collapsing on top, shaking violently beneath the freezing rain, as the storm carried him farther into the unknown, away from everything he had ever known. The morning after, by sunrise, the storm was finally gone, but the world it left behind was unrecognizable. The river had swallowed streets, homes stood broken like hollow shells, trees lay twisted in the mud, and boats drifted where rooftops used to be. Lucky slowly opened his eyes. His small wooden raft had carried him far from the village, far from everything he knew. Exhausted, starving, trembling, he dragged himself onto the muddy ground. The air was silent now, too silent. Every step he took revealed more destruction. Every sound made him turn, hoping. Emma, he searched through the wreckage, through strangers calling out names, through the crying and confusion. Every child's voice made his heart jump. Every figure in the distance made him run, then stop. But she never appeared. As days passed, hope became heavier than hunger. And each night, under the cold, endless sky, Lucky waited, still believing she would come back. The shelter. One rainy evening, after days of searching through the flooded ruins, animal rescue workers finally heard a faint sound beneath the wreckage of an overturned truck. There, trembling in the cold mud, was Lucky, weak, thin, barely holding on. Carefully, they lifted him into their arms and rushed him to safety. He was brought to a crowded animal rescue shelter, a place filled with barking, crying, and silence all at once. Dogs, cats, and other animals, each one separated from the families they once knew. Some days, owners would arrive, tears of joy, reunions, relief. But other times, no one came at all. Every time the shelter door opened, Lucky's head shot up. His small tail would begin to wag again, hope returning in an instant, then fading just as fast. Days turned into weeks. The workers started whispering gently, fearing the truth that Lucky's family might never return. Still, Lucky waited, not because he understood time, but because love never told him to stop. The miracle, but far away. Emma never stopped searching. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months. She printed missing posters with Lucky's face, her hands shaking as she taped them across walls, streets, and shelters. Every single day, she visited rescue centers, calling his name, showing his photo, hoping, just hoping, someone would say yes. And every night, she prayed into the silence. Then one quiet afternoon, the shelter door slowly opened again. Lucky barely lifted his head. He had learned not to hope anymore. Too many faces, too many false hopes. Then, a voice, soft, broken, familiar. Lucky? The sound froze him. Slowly, he turned. Emma stood there, crying like she had been holding it in for a lifetime. For a moment, the world stopped. No sound, no distance, no time. Then suddenly, Lucky ran, faster than he had ever run. Emma dropped to her knees, arms open wide, and he leapt into them. After everything the storm took, love somehow found its way back. The storm destroyed homes, roads, and nearly an entire village, but it could not destroy hope. And it could never break the bond between a little girl and her dog, because sometimes the smallest survivors carry the biggest hearts.